Good morning. I'd like to call the regular scheduled meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order. It's March 16th. It's now 8:30. First order of business, Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to ask Selectman Cloutier to lead us, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Cindy. Item 2 is a public hearing to receive comments on the 2015 Community Development Block Grant. Okay, I'm going to ask Angela, you're going to present that to us, okay?
Where should I?
Right here, please. Want to state your full name for the record, please?
Good morning. I'm Angela Ross, and I'm the Executive Director of the Housing Authority. We are seeking $550,000 from the CDBG funds for renovation at Guilford Court. The Housing Authority intends on putting in $100,000 of our own money also. We need all new roofs on all 8 buildings. The roofs were last done in 1992, so they are definitely at the end of their life. It's also a second layer, which also contributes to roofs not lasting as long. We're looking to bring the community room up to ADA compliance. The community room is used for all 57 residents. It's used for social functions, laundry, the office is in there, there's a kitchen, and there's 2 bathrooms. Somebody in a walker would have does have a very difficult time getting through there. Somebody in a scooter or a wheelchair, impossible. So we're really, they're not really getting the access and the benefit that they should. We're also looking to replace the door on that building too. We need one of the automatic doors with the push buttons for access also. It will also provide energy cost savings. So it's all for accessibility, security, and energy cost savings on that area there. We're also looking for new bathroom and kitchen fans. They are all original to the buildings. And the buildings were built in 1971 with another smaller portion built in 74. So they're quite old. They really don't work as they should. We also need 30 new front storm doors. The rest of our doors, they're pretty good, but we have 30 of them that are completely rusted and really need to be replaced. The tenants have also requested more lighting in the parking lots, so we would like to be able to fulfill that request so they're comfortable and they feel secure. Lastly, we would like to upgrade our present generator to a 3-phase generator, because as our generator stands now, should we have a blackout, say, we've had these hurricanes and, these issues, it will provide some plugs in the community room, so there's heat, and there would be plugs for people on oxygen. But what it doesn't do, and what we need a 3-phase generator to do, is to pump the septic tanks. That's a big deal. And what we do now is we have our septic people, when something like this happens, they have to continuously come and check it every 12 to 24 hours and pump it during an emergency. So that's the list of our needs, and I will take any questions and answer them as best I can.
So you're looking for a $500,000 grant?
550.
50, excuse me. And this is for Guilford Court, you said?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. That's a. How much of your own funds are you putting into this?
100,000.
100,000. It's a lot of work
Yeah.
for that much money.
I'm
Yeah.
hoping we can do it, but we have priced it out. We did price it out last year. I think we can do it. It looks like we can.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else have any questions? This is a public hearing, so anybody is welcome to address the board or give their own comments. Dale, you want to add anything to that?
Sure, shall I come up?
Sure, please, come on up. And I need your full name and address
Sure.
for the record and your
Yeah.
position with the,
Dale Krupp, Community Resource Management, and I'm a consultant with the Housing Authority in the town in the past on
Okay.
the small cities applications, and been involved in preparing other applications for them for Guilford Court a long time ago, and then Boston Terrace. So, yes, the fact that a couple years ago they applied and they didn't get funded, so a lot of times if the point system is very close call between towns that do get funded and don't get funded. One of the bonus points questions is leveraging. So the fact that they're putting in their own money this time definitely helps them. And plus the budget, I think last time was, the total grant was 500 if I recall
You are
correctly.
right,
So
yeah.
now really the full budget is 650 if you include their money. So that puts them in a better position. And other than that, they've had successful audits from other grants that they've received through the town, and I've worked with the town on their filing system and so forth. So I don't know if there were questions. I know you have a resolution later on it's a boilerplate state resolution for the actual application of funds. The applications are due on April 10th, just so you know.
And you've gotten fairly accurate estimates. I mean, like Mr. Miles has said, I mean, between roofs and a three-phase generator.
Yep,
that is a lot of work for.
I know that we have that cost estimate from last time.
Right, so what they do in the application is they require a certain level of design drawings to go in with the application. So, and a cost estimate by an architect that they have to hire, and
But that has not been done at this point?
it has, well, the architect did the estimate 2 years ago, so just has to revise it up to with the extra money that they have this time.
No one's been hired yet.
But they would always bid things with alternates, just to make sure that they have enough money to do the main.
Well, I'm just concerned because things have changed in the past 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And we would be able to prioritize this list.
Right.
you were very successful in getting the grant for Boston Terrace for the 9 zero energy units. And memory escapes me now, but what grant was that?
Champ 6, I believe.
Okay.
It was all state funding from
Okay. So it
Department
was
of
much
Housing.
different than this
Yeah.
grant here?
Yes.
Okay.
And then Boston Terrace was before that, maybe a year or two before that, was also general renovations to the existing units that are there.
That's right.
Through small
Yeah,
cities.
yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Any
Do
other
you know if
comments?
this is a high probability, low probability? I mean, is every town in the state applying for this?
No, there's, every town that's under 50,000 people can apply for it. They usually get about double the applications,
Okay.
for which they have about half the money.
Okay.
And so I would say it's medium to high, let's be optimistic.
Yes.
I think their leveraging will help them this year.
The notice of the public hearing says the maximum award limits
Right.
is 500,000, either for economic development activities and 500,000 for urgent needs.
Right.
You're over by 50.
This is a different category, though.
Okay, which category? would
Public
you-
housing, I don't have it in front of me.
700 for public housing modernization.
Okay, all right, there we go.
Yeah, they're within the 700.
Okay, so you are, okay, good. Any other questions or comments?
And the three-phase generator is an upgrade. It's not a whole new generator. It sounded like you thought maybe that was a whole new generator. It's an upgrade to an existing, fairly new generator that we have.
Okay, so you do have a
I
generator?
don't think you can make a generator from single phase to three phase, so you're probably gonna be looking at a new generator.
We did do that. at Sachem Hollow, so.
Okay,
I
so
think-
you've had some experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And I know that number 9 on the list that you do the resolution, may we sit in another room and speak, and if you have any questions?
You can stay right here if you like.
We don't want to.
They want to go somewhere where they can talk.
Sure, you,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Sure.
There's a
Okay.
conference room up the hall.
Okay, if you,
Okay.
you know, if you need us.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, if
Thank
there's
you.
no other comments or no one wishing to address the public hearing, I'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, thank you. We can call you back when we discuss this if you'd like, but, okay, great, thank you. Okay, item 3, public forum. I think we just about had all the public forum we're gonna have, so we'll move on. Item 4, approval of the minutes, March 2nd, regular meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Any additions or corrections to the minutes of March 2nd? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor?
All right.
Okay. Unanimous. Item 3, Finance Director, Sheila Valano, 5.1, received a monthly report. Sheila, morning. We've got a couple items for you, but we'll start with the finance report.
So we'll start with the good part. I guess it's all good. We'll make it revenue. Okay, so we are 3/4 of the way, most through the year, close to that at least. 2/3 of the way. And we collected 98.8% of our revenue, which is a full percentage point ahead of where we were last year. So it looks like, and I actually spent some time with the tax collector last week, that taxes is really driving this good collection rate. You can see that taxes is at 99.6% with only $300,000 left to collect. So I was a little bit nervous about that number. I did speak with the tax collector and we went over some reports, and it is accurate. We were, I don't want to say it in a bad way, we were slightly conservative when we estimated our grand list, when we put the budget together, which is a good thing. And we also, since the reval, have the benefit of a slightly higher mill rate, which helps us with the supplemental motor vehicle collections that we don't budget for because we can't anticipate that. So that's helping us here. She actually has about $1 million left to collect. So we will, based on what we collected last year through the beginning of March until July 31st, because we have the extra month to collect taxes, we may see about a $500,000 surplus. And
So
that's,
this year?
yes. I should maybe qualify that and say 250 to 500, just to be careful. But what I'm hoping there is that that will help compensate for some of the problem areas due to the storms, due to the snow on the expense side. And as far as some of the other departments, everyone is really in good shape. Town clerk, we started to look at that a little bit. They are slightly under, but I believe I need to take a better look at how that's being recorded, and I may be able to pick up a little more revenue. They are not much, some. Maybe $20,000 by the end of the year. Fire department is, I don't think their deposits came in on schedule this month, so the February collections were only $11,000. I will check on that. I think that's
I think I
just
can help you out on that.
Okay.
I talked to the fire department on Friday. The administrative assistant was out on family issues, and that's why they're down so much. So
Yeah,
she will be caught up by the end of this month.
Right.
So they'll be back on track. So I'm
Yeah.
not too concerned
I
about the
thought
fire
it was
department.
probably a timing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
good.
Okay.
Any questions on revenue?
I just read an article, I don't know if it's relevant at this point in time, about a potential bill in the works at the state level to take over the vehicle taxing. Is that, were you hearing anything yet? Or is that just a proposal?
You know, we've heard
No,
of
we
this
we
every
hear
year.
that every year.
Yeah.
Right, I wouldn't, I'm not too worried about it yet. Yet. Okay.
No, I thought it might be, but
If anything, they might try to equalize the mill rate
Between the two.
on vehicles. And Guilford is kind of in the middle, so I don't think we'll be hurt too much if it ever passes, but I don't see much.
well, the only part of the bill I was a little bit concerned with is that it would be paid directly to the state and then
Yep.
quote unquote, the towns would be reimbursed.
That
Proportionately with the
that
cities getting
you
more.
will see me up there testifying and screaming, because any money that goes up there never comes back here 100%. And believe me, CCM and cost would fight that.
Worth the
tooth and nail.
conversation with our reps.
Yeah, well, definitely. So, the subject for CCM's Day on the Hill. So, okay. Any more on revenue?
No, so I think, you know,
Okay.
revenue, we're in shape. On expenditures, we know where our problem area is, but I don't want to be pessimistic at this point. I think that, well, we have one more week in March that's not showing on this report as far as Public Works goes for overtime. And Joe, you probably remember that number, you probably know it exactly.
Yeah,
I gave it
it's
to
not
you.
a pretty number. I have it on my desk. It's overtime. If you look at your report on Public Works, it doesn't look, it's bad on this report, but it's even worse when you consider the last week of February, which is not in this report because the payrolls are always a week behind. We're $44,000 over on overtime, okay, which is not reflected in this report. Now, I have a memo going out that's not yet sent to the department heads, and I'm going to ask them to really scrutinize the discretionary spending from here on in, because I'm getting a little bit concerned because of the amount of money we spent in Public Works, and it's no disrespect to the Public Works operation, because they had to do what they had to do to keep the roads open and safe, and they did a fantastic job. But I want to make sure that we come in on budget. So that will be going out this afternoon, so, okay? That's where that stands. But it is what it is.
Wasn't unanticipated.
No.
You know, we all weathered the weather.
And it's still, winter keeps hanging on. I mean, you get a few nice days, and then we, 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But that's what it is. It's springtime. Well, not quite spring yet, but they tell me it's coming. All right.
Public Works always has a large amount of blanket encumbrances in their repairs and maintenance line. They have $87,000 right now. They're over by $36,000 with that $87,000 amount encumbered. I tend to believe that many of these encumbrances will get canceled as we're heading toward the end of the year, and that may help. So I'm going to discuss that with them as well, to see if they can get a handle on which blankets they can actually cancel that they're really not going to use, because that'll help us see where we need to be.
Good. Any other areas on expense you want to bring to our attention?
No, we're going to start to keep an eye on legal now in terms of the reval claims, which they're getting settled. So that's, at least a sign that we're making progress.
Good. Okay. Any questions for the Finance Director on expenses?
We could take a look at medical. We're moving closer to unfortunately, our stop loss premium amount of the $845,000 or so. Let me grab my report. This month, oh, look, there's no total, that's not good. The claims that were covered by the ISL were about just under $700,000, I believe. Mitch, I don't know if you have. Moving closer toward our ISL premium of $845,000, which we know we made a good choice because we're moving toward that, but we want to at least cover that premium. But we're still showing that we would have a projected surplus this year of just over $200,000 using my annualized method that I've been using for years now. So I think that we're okay. It's the number of claims that are greater than 50% of our stop loss, which is the 75,000 is the 50% number, is a whole page now of contracts. So
We had a heavy month in claims here. It was 1.2 million.
yeah.
Sheila, the last number on the ISL, why do we go backwards? Is that a...
No, I'm going to look at that. I don't know. Good question.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I will check
It's
that.
not the,
No.
if in reality, the health of our employees implied that we went backwards, that would be good, but that's not mathematically possible, I don't think.
Well, I will check that and make sure that that's correct for tonight.
Any other questions on medical? Okay, anything else?
No, that's all unless you have a question.
Okay, any other questions on the finance reports for the month of February? If not, we'll move on to 5.2, discuss and take possible action on bonding resolutions as prepared by bond counsel. In addition, send the various school improvement projects for bonding to Planning and Zoning Commission for mandatory referral pursuant to Section 8-24 of the Connecticut General Statutes.
Okay, so we have 5 bonding resolutions. You have them in your packet.
That means we're going to have a two-sided ballot again.
I know, and I know that's a concern. The bond counsel is very careful with how they combine the questions. They have to
Yeah.
be, of similar nature, and the Board of Ed wanted 2 questions. I suppose that they may be able to combine the Board of Ed into one if it was really necessary, but I don't think they want one because they want to leverage their... so what we have is, I'll go over each resolution?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have, okay, so we have $2.5 million for costs related to inland road reconstruction and improvements to town facilities. This does not match the cover memo that Doug sent, so we'll have to check that. Okay, 2.5 for town inland road reconstruction, and that's basically the 1,140,000, which was the roads. I don't know why he made this. Have you looked at this at all?
I haven't seen his letter. All I got was the actual resolutions.
Okay, this has to be
Right, Trace,
corrected.
we didn't get his letter.
Yeah, because if you look at number 1, it's got school costs in there,
Yeah.
and then if you look at I don't understand why they can't be combined.
No.
These were emailed to us on Friday.
Yeah, so let's talk about the $2.5 million cost related to inland road reconstruction. I asked for Doug to make that to say Phase 1, because Phase 2, Jim is doing, the roads that are listed here are going to be done basically on a 4-year time frame. And so Jim was hoping that he wouldn't get caught into having to do in the first 2 years, 2 specific, roads.
Wants the flexibility.
He wanted flexibility, so I asked if we could not put dollar amounts attached to the roads, but leave all the roads in. So in other words, the cost of every road that's listed here is probably 2.5 million, but we only are asking for 1,140,000 over the first 2 years. But we wanted to list all the roads so Jim could decide when he was going to start the roads and if it was going to carry over. So the only thing I need to do is to have the 2.5 million. We need to change that to 1,140,000 as we approved. It is, but not on the.
We didn't get that.
We don't- all we have is
We
this
have one
one.
with a one,
We have the 1.1.
Okay, then the.
Second resolution says 1.1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the 2.5 is actually the one that goes to town meeting, so that one has to be fixed.
Okay.
Okay?
But if you look at the
But the-
first one,
are the 5 that are here, the 5 that are going as you understand them?
Yes, this is wrong, this is
Maybe you ought to-
correct.
Maybe you ought to work
Yeah.
off this one.
Okay. Well, I looked at this and I noticed this is not right, and this is what
Right.
goes to town meeting, so we'll fix that one. Okay, and then the 2,205,000, what he did is he combined all of, the Board of Ed, improvements, to the buildings that were not related to, security, I believe.
Right.
so I don't know why you can't combine that with 3.5.
He can, but the question is that the Board of Ed did want 2 questions.
That's what
So we could discuss that. This is
they
all.
did or did, but they have
did.
another question down here. See what I'm saying? 1.65 is security upgrades, and then 3.5 is is all improvements to school buildings, as well as 2.25 is school buildings and town buildings. So I don't know why the 2.2 and the 3.5 can't be combined as one, unless they just didn't want that number.
I don't think they wanted such a big number.
Well, I mean, but then you have more bonds. What if people don't get through the list? I don't know. I'd be
Well-
worried more that people.
I knew that in the past we didn't want to have a 2-sided ballot. And I knew from the beginning that it was going to end up being 5 questions. So that and he took the equipment and the 140,000 for the grader and separated that as well as a separate bonding question.
And I question. I mean, maybe it has to be because it is. I don't know. Can it be? Because the one thing is the roads. They are kind of different. I could see why maybe they have to be separated.
Right, so all the the facility improvements, our totals were rounded up by $5,000, I believe, that he did for issuance costs. So, the total, if you look at the letter, well, not the letter, but the resolution, the 2,205,000 and the 1,140,000 and the 149,000, those were our projects.
Yeah.
Rounded up by probably $15,000, I believe, that's what he did.
So what do you want to do, Jeff?
I don't know about the ballot. Does the 5th question make it go on to the second page, the second side? Because I'm wondering if I could convince him to take the equipment and combine it into another issue. Would that make a difference for 140,000?
Yeah, for 100, I'd like to put that 140 in with one of the other questions. It would make a lot more sense. Okay?
I possibly can convince him to put it with the road project.
That's what I
because
was
it's
thinking.
related to road grading.
That's what I was thinking. Okay?
Okay.
If we can do that. Okay? As it stands now, I don't think we can approve it.
Well, you're approving it contingent on the Board of Finance, because technically, the Board of Finance has to approve it before the Board of Selectmen.
Right.
And so I can change this, and we can decide, it's all contingent tonight, so we can make the changes
Well-
right now.
Let me just stop you for a second. This board is going to have a special meeting before the end of March anyway, on another issue. Okay? Which is going to involve an executive session. Not that this needs an executive
Right.
session. So I haven't had the chance to address the board on that yet. So, I don't know what your timing is on this.
I think that it's the 26th. Is that a week from next Wednesday or Thursday?
26th
Next
is
Thursday. I
Thursday.
need to get it to the paper for
Okay.
publication.
So, next Thursday. So
Probably.
that's what? 10 days? No. Yeah. Today's what, 16th? Yeah, 10 days
A
from
week
now.
from Thursday.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to have a special meeting between now and next Thursday, anyway.
But I have a question, so we would approve it, then it goes to Board of Finance and it comes back to us?
No, you're
No.
approving it contingent on the
Right.
Board
So
of
we don't wanna do that then, Joe? The only thing I'm afraid of is then the Board of Finance doesn't meet till next month,
But,
and they have to approve it, you're saying?
But they could have a special meeting too. I
Well,
mean,
they-
it-
They meet tonight.
they
You
can
meet
meet
tonight.
tonight to approve it, and then you would meet. on
But
the-
you would have to have it corrected for tonight,
Well, I.
and then it comes back to us.
Yeah, if you get it
Exactly.
squared away tonight, and then we're just approving,
So normally it doesn't matter what order it is, whether it's us or them, you're saying?
I would rather have a clean copy to approve.
Okay, because, I mean,
Okay.
I have it, I have the Word document that Doug sends that he allows me to make the change as long as I tell him.
Okay, so why don't you get that cleaned up for tonight? Give it to the Board of Finance, let them approve it, and then I'm gonna schedule a special meeting. And then we can approve the clean copy after the Board of Finance has approved it.
Okay, so
Okay.
we're gonna try to go to the 4 questions then. I just wanna make sure that
Correct.
you're, okay.
Correct, so I'm gonna make a motion that we table this, at these resolutions,
Second.
okay? Right. Motion's been made and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Now, the only other thing that wasn't on the agenda was to set the town meeting date. Is
It
it-
says on the agenda, it's the next item.
Okay,
It's item 5.3, okay?
so that you can do,
That we better do.
yeah.
Okay, 5.3, consider and take possible actions on a notice of an annual town budget meeting and budget referendum. Okay, we have that in the packet, Chase?
yeah, that's.
We should have it. You want my copy?
The only,
I don't have my copy.
the only question I
Oh, yeah.
have on that,
Right here, there we go.
Joe, the only
Yes.
question I have on that is that the notice that is presented here has the 5 items
Yeah.
as they were presented, so that may need to be adjusted.
We can just approve the town meeting.
Just the time without the numbers.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
that's fine.
we can do that.
Okay.
I think that's all you technically do anyway.
All right.
And then we'll
All right,
fix that.
the annual, I'll read it, the annual town budget meeting of electors and citizens qualified to vote in the town meeting of the town of Guilford, Connecticut will be held at the Green Community Center, 32 Church Street in Guilford, Connecticut on Tuesday, April 7, 2015, at 7:30 PM, period, okay?
Second. Is that a motion?
That's a motion,
Second.
okay? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, all right. So the annual town meeting will be for the budget, April 7th, 2015, at 7:30 PM at the community center. All right, Trace? Okay, good. All right,
Knowing that all this may have to be revised
That's right.
before it's published.
okay. I just didn't read the rest of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, anything else, you know?
That's all I
All right,
have.
very good, thank you. Jim, I hope you're a lot less confusing.
I'm confused all the time. I just show up.
Item 6, Town Engineer Jim Portley, discuss and take possible action on a resolution authorizing first selectman to sign the first supplemental design agreement for the Long Hill Road reconstruction projects. How many of these are we signing?
Oh, they go on forever. No, we had a design agreement that said extra work line item at $43,000. During the process of design, a number of things have come up. We had to, there was an archaeological study that was not anticipated that cost us $20-something thousand. We revised the right-of-way plans because we had a public hearing. That was our initiation. Now, this last thing is the soil borings there was a line item for borings and design of foundations that was in the contract, but because of the status of the design now and the more extensive structure that's going to be used to convey Spinning Mill Brook to tie into the West River, they're asking for more borings. The state has asked for that along not only where the culvert's going to be placed, but along the west side of the West River, so that there's going to be a structure, whether it's a retaining wall or whatever, it's still into final design, to hold that riverbank so we don't have any erosion and we don't have any issues that do with fisheries and a whole host of people who are concerned about it. So this supplemental agreement covers all those items, and it just kind of sets it up so that we have enough money to do it. And they on page, actually it says page 2 because the agreement is on the first supplemental agreement is on page 1. It's two pages after the cover letter, and then the second page is the estimated engineering costs, and it breaks it down. And the price, the line items, what was approved originally was $43,800 under B. Our share now goes from $43,000 to $70,250 because of the extra work that's been elicited. So that's what that agreement is all about.
And where is our share coming from to?
Dedicated road funds.
Dedicated road
Yeah.
fund, okay.
Do you think we're getting close to knowing what the I mean, we've almost doubled our share at this point, so.
Yeah, the project is now, it's gone through review, 70% review status. It's called semi-final in the state parlance. The next one's a final design. Most all the issues that have been, could have come up have been addressed already. So I think at this point,
We're at about 70%.
we're at 70%. All the comments have come back. I've had communication with DOT and with HACS that's all been done. And now our generated responses to questions raised by DOT, but I think we're in good shape right now.
Do surprises sometimes and/or often pop up during the actual construction phase?
Absolutely. You never, you know, as much as your investigation you do, you never know what's underground. You never would, you hit conditions that you don't anticipate.
Is there a max that we, I mean, you know,
Well, this is the design phase. The next phase would be a separate document for construction. After we go to bid,
oh,
yeah, this is just the design phase.
So we're making a motion to approve Joe to sign.
Yes,
The
yes.
resolution's on the
Resolution.
back,
Yeah, it is a resolution that was required by
back
the
of
state.
page 1.
Second page of the cover letter.
Jim, is there a possibility that we're gonna have to add more cost to this?
I don't anticipate it at this point. For the design,
No, to the project itself.
won't know until it's all done, but I think we should be okay. I think we're
even with this new wall that, you know.
well, we're
the
talking
river-
about a low retaining wall, maybe 3 feet. They are
not a big-
precast units. They're not expensive compared to pouring concrete walls and that kind of thing. You know, and that'll know a final design. They'll give us a final design construction cost estimate. You go there.
Is this wall gonna have, you say it's a precast, so it's all concrete.
Yeah.
Is this a wall that's gonna have to be rock veneer, like we've done on other projects?
Yes, but there are these companies like United Concrete. It's part of this. It's a natural. They just produce them, and they're not extra. They're not any. There's no extra field work to create this veneer. It just
It's in the form
it's
or
in the
something.
form itself. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's-
Okay.
and I, you know, it's not required, but I think it's a nice finish for people to see. But I don't think it's going to cost any more money.
So it's part of,
Yes.
part of your
Yeah.
cost estimate?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So you need a
Need a
motion
motion?
for the
Yes,
resolution?
please, yeah.
Do we need to read it?
Yeah, we're not. please.
You want to read it?
Yep.
Okay. Resolved that Joseph S. Mazza, First Selectman, is hereby authorized to sign the agreement entitled, quote, First Supplemental Agreement between the State of Connecticut and the Town of Guilford for the development of contract plans, specifications, and estimates for Long Hill Road reconstruction, utilizing federal funds under the urban component of the Surface Transportation Program, and adopted by the Board of Selectmen
Second.
this day.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, James.
Literally mean we have to.
Trace, you have a copy
We
of
did
that
already.
resolution? Okay.
They don't trust us for
No.
$18,000?
They don't trust you, they know you're on the board, so it's.
Okay, Guilford High School Building Committee, 7.1, consider to take possible action on award of RFP 5-1415, monitoring of hazardous material abatement, former high school. Lawrence, good morning.
Good morning.
State your name for the record, please.
My name is Lawrence Rosati. I'm with the Morgani Group, the Town of Guilford, the Guilford High School Building Committee's owner's project manager.
Okay. Why don't you just tell us something about the bid you want us to approve, Lawrence?
Yes, the scope of work is for an industrial hygienist that will monitor the abatement contractor's work that will start once the demolition of the existing school commences. The scope of work was required because it was not included in the architect's scope of services, so the committee had requested to be put on the street. It was put on the street, the RFP 5-1415, and bids were received on February 12th. Subsequent to the bids, they were reviewed by the architect and the committee, and based on a complete review of all the bids and the requirements of the RFP, tie and bond was chosen and recently approved at the building committee meeting held March 10th for issuance of a purchase order with the Town of Guilford to perform said services in the RFP.
Okay, and I believe the amount was $262,424. Is that correct?
Actually,
It was
$3,000.
correct. Lab services were added, so it's $265,468.
With the addition of,
The $3,044 for lab services, yes.
okay, that's correct, I'm sorry. So that was an add-on.
Yes.
All right, so the committee, I just want to get this straight, because approved the initial bid of $262,424 plus the addition of a lab of $3,044.
Yes, sir.
Right, okay. And that's reference in your email of March 11th to Chris and Elliot. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Two questions.
Go ahead, Jerry.
There are three bids that are all in the same ballpark. This was slightly higher than the other two. What made this one preferable? And the second question is what was the first group doing with that $1 million lab test thing?
Yes, we, Richard with Taisuk Kim and I put a phone call into them, and it was a misunderstanding as far as, it was quantity based as far as the number of inspections that would be needed, so no one envisioned that amount, but
They just
it was not a typo, yes. for
Smoking
some reason.
something.
Yes.
why was Ty and Bond considered better than the other two that were slightly lower?
The committee subsequently had a score sheet based on quality and the other 9 components that were listed in the RFP, and overall it was deemed that they were most responsive to the RFP and in knowing the project.
So there were other criteria other than cost?
Yes, this was not solely the low bidder.
Any other questions? Not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the bid.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? If not, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Thank you, Lawrence.
Thank you.
Okay, item 8, Guilford Preservation Alliance. I didn't see you back there, Russ. I thought we were going to have to table it. 8.1, discuss and take possible action to award a contract for the Guilford Tourism Kiosk as recommended by the architect and DECD, and authorize the first selectman to sign the contract. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. Russell Campaign with CK Architects. Was hired to coordinate the bidding and construction of the Guilford Tourism Kiosk that a grant was awarded, and so this is sort of the first step of moving through the grant process, is to get a contractor on board. So we did go out to bid. I went out to 5 bidders. 3 bids were returned. We got bids from Handler Building Company, who was the lowest bidder at $70,391. East Guilford Construction at $81,019, and Munger Construction at $82,200. I had estimated $72,000, so we were slightly below bid on this particular scope, and and I, in reviewing with the state, which was part of the grant requirements, the state concurred with the low bidder, and they were fully qualified, and the scope is clear to execute the contract. So what we also asked the state, and I think I brought this up when we were reviewing, is the state grant supersedes the Guilford threshold as far as a performance bond being required on this scale of project. I did request, since the bids came in at $70,000 and the contract was that amount, whether they would waive their more stringent requirement, and they did say they would. So the just shy of $3,000 that was line itemed in to be associated with carrying a performance bond on the project can be waived and go toward actual construction value. So that is fully within Guilford's policy. It was that the state was requiring a higher level or a lower threshold. So with that, we gained permission to move forward and to negotiate a contract, which I think you have. It's an AIA contract that was worked through council with the town. And you'll see that there is, the number is lower on that contract. We're going to contract with $58,416. That reflects actually the removal of the performance bond, which was carried in the bid as it should have been. And it also reflects the removal of several pieces of equipment that the Guilford Preservation Alliance would like to seek private donation for. So these were sort of allowance items. They weren't really bid. They were carried by each of the contractors to sort of make sure that we met the full amount of the grant. And we're removing those to get this in accordance to the grant amount. Now there is some $3,000, I think, after the accounting of the grant comes through with the covenant stone and the legal fees and some other things that the Guilford Preservation Alliance has funds in hand to carry. So the request is to award the contract to Handler Construction and to allow the AIA contract that was written up for this with a 5% retainage being carried, being awarded to, or being being able to be provided to Handler Construction for signature and execution.
Okay.
The one other thing, in hearing the overages, one of the things that is, that I will remind you in this, is there's an assumption that the Guilford Public Works is handling the demolition of existing sidewalks, the removal of topsoil, the digging of the foundation, the backfilling of foundation and materials from site stockpiles and from your stone, and then planting and seeding. All other from there up, so all the concrete, all the sidewalks, all the electric, all the building superstructure is all in this number, but it is reliant on Public Works in order to do the labor associated with it, and as we had agreed, the material that you have on hand, which is, I think, the tailings from, we'll use that as the backfill material, but the tailings from some of the asphalt road work will be used as the substrate for that.
You notice he waited till Jim left before he said it.
I assume you've had communications with Code.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. He was involved in our early discussions, and I think it's really minimal. It's a very small footprint. I mean, it's a 6x12 hole that's 3 feet deep, so.
I think we can handle that.
Good.
So. Okay.
Just my only comment, from time to time, I've commented about the need for performance bonds, and this is an absolute, obvious situation where the 5% holdback is there, reduces the cost by $2,400. I know there's some situations, large projects where you need the bond, but it greatly increases the cost, so I'm pleased to see that we've developed some flexibility to not require bonds where we know the contractor, where it's a relatively quick project and we have a holdback, so saves us a little money. I think it's a good change in policy. And I would move that we approve the contract for 58416 to Handler Building as presented.
Second.
And authorize the first selectman to sign.
Second, I have a question though. The email was cut off, so just so I know, was this the lowest bidder?
Yes,
or not? It was, okay.
Yep.
And second of all,
The
the
ones
stuff.
in here, if you want to take a look at it.
Oh, no, that's okay. Because I get everything emailed, so that's okay. The second question is, the stuff that's taken out
Yeah.
is, because I know then Shirley wrote a note above, I mean, but do you think they're gonna be able to cover it, or?
Yes, well, basically, it was a bike rack, a bench,
Just like, I mean, not that.
and then the housing for the actual mechanical kiosk, I'm sorry, the electronic
computer.
kiosk.
Yeah.
And the computer.
Which is key.
Which is key, although, the house, what the original intent of this, it sort of moved away, but really, they do have staffing for this to actually have people during the summer with an iPad. They still have a separate grant that is generating the actual software development.
Okay.
This is actually would be off hours. It's a freestanding kiosk that sits in front. Yes, I think that they're confident that with the momentum of the project, that someone will step up to to absorb that some odd $9,000 or so in equipment cost. But even these are somewhat peripheral to the main purpose of their goal of getting this operational and getting the kiosk up.
Okay. Because I mean, I understand that they're having people, but you can't have people there 24/7.
No.
Right?
No. It would be staffed during the peak hours that they had sort of spoken about. So, from the summer hours and on the weekends, and I think there was 2 or 3 days a week. And as I said, we've, the tours, they've added tour on midweek and some other times. And so I think they have a pretty good sense of being able to get it open when it's most needed.
Okay.
And they're not giving up at all on getting this kiosk. They think that is the future and how it's going to transition.
Yeah.
That people would even feel more comfortable often going up to a kiosk than a...
Actually, that's what I'm thinking.
This actual kiosk unit is actually a modular unit. It's about $5,500. It uses a wireless interface with a full computer on board, and it's full climate control with a touch screen. And so really this is actually a model. I mean, they definitely want to do this, but it's something that could go, on the sidewalk, over off the green or down by the harbor or near the State Museum. I mean, and all use the same platform that we're using, and that would be the goal, because it's pretty discreet, it's small, and it has full function. It's pretty neat. So.
Any other discussion or questions? If not, I'll call for vote. All those in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Thank you.
Good.
We could merge it with the ATM machines for savings.
Well, actually, that's what a lot
Then
of
they can pay for it.
Your studies, Gary, that's what a lot of the commercial, like the parks and everything have done, and they actually have higher revenue sales in it. That's why I'm saying, like, people don't want to go up to somebody per se. They'd rather go up to a machine. That's what's,
Item 9, consider and take possible action on the resolution for the Small Cities Program. This is in relation to the public hearing that we had at the beginning of the meeting. And you see in front of you the resolution.
I would move that we approve the resolution for the Small Cities Program, endorse the work of the Housing Authority, and authorize the first selectman to sign.
Second.
Second?
Or is it the clerk? I guess the clerk has to sign, not the first selectman, right? If I read the piece of paper correctly.
That's correct.
And authorize the town clerk to sign.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? If not, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Thank you. Okay, you're all set, folks? Yep. Item 10, appointments and resignations. 10.1, act on a recommendation to appoint Richard Hudson as an alternate to the Planning and Zoning Commission for a term to expire February 28, 2019. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous, thank you. Okay, request 11, a request for the use of town properties, 11.1 to 11.5. Tracy, do we have a,
I sent them the information,
Okay.
for about pinwheels.
all right, there was one of the, before you want to make a motion, there was one of the applicants, which is the 11.1, South Central Child Advisory Center. They wanted to put pinwheels.
Smaller sign, a little real estate sign. with
Yeah.
pinwheels.
On the signs. And did Stephen write us back at all?
Yep, there's an email in the packet.
Okay.
From him.
For which one, Joe? I'm confused.
It says not so,
first one.
not so sure of the pinwheels, as small as they are out of the scope of the sign regulations and could lead to larger requests.
Okay, that was a email sent to us from Stephen Page, who is chairman of the Green Committee. So he's advising that we approve the sign, but without the pinwheels. Well, he's saying he's not too sure about the pinwheels. So,
Trying to
Well,
get
it
people to look
could
at
open
it.
the door
Yeah.
for a lot of stuff.
Balloons.
yeah, so I'm inclined to agree with Mr. Page that we approve the sign, definitely, but minus the pinwheels. That would be my feeling.
There's 2 more meetings between now and the time that they want to put them up, so if somebody wants to show up with Mr. Page, I guess they have the right to come back at another meeting.
So I
I
would
would agree with you.
I would make a motion on this one to approve the sign minus the pinwheels.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous, thank you. Gary, you want to continue with it?
Yeah, a little there. I'm going to move that we approve the use in the signs for 11.2, 11.3, and 11.5 as presented. The question I have on 11.4 is I have no issue with the use, but there is no, unless Tracy got omitted, there is no sign request.
No, just use of the green.
Okay.
It says use for town.
It says, on their use, they say they're requesting a sign, but there is no sign request. So I would move that we approve the use, but not the sign until they present a sign request.
They may just, they may submit it later.
And again, they have time to put a sign request in, but it's, there's a sort of an aberration in their application.
They
So,
don't usually put a sign, that's strange. They
Okay.
usually just use the green.
well, maybe they checked the wrong box, but they said yes. So I would move that we approve 11.2 through 11.5 as presented in the agenda, but note that there was that aberration in their request for a sign.
Motion's been made, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, on correspondence, I have the Public Works report and the building officials report. Don't fall down when you see the overtime, but I already calculated. I didn't calculate, finance did a nice job in calculating the hours.
I trust everybody came through in good health.
No,
No.
actually, we had a couple of casualties, well, I wouldn't say casualties. We had a couple of men who had some issues, shoulder injuries. One gentleman, fatigue. So, these guys put in a lot of time. Right. I'm gonna pass to you a letter from the chairman of the Fire Commission. You can read it at your leisure. It was presented to me the other day. Okay. And also on correspondence, I'm going to pass to you a letter from Mayor Maturo regarding the Columbus Day activities. Joe is a little bit ahead of the game. This is It's still March? He's talking about October, but that's Joe, okay? So, anybody wishing to participate, I think I will, and you will.
Are they gonna ask for more staff? Or is that more money for the?
No, this is for next, you read that first, the fire department is going after a grant, that's what that is for. Okay, that's what I have on correspondence. And committee reports, are there any? Old business? No?
I don't know where it goes, but the Guilford Cleanup Day is gonna be May 2nd,
Okay.
Saturday, 8 to 2. More information is gonna be coming out shortly, with the rain date, May 3rd. And you know, with the Rotary, sort of took over last year, sort of chairing the event, or heading, organizing the event, so I'll keep updating everybody.
Any new business? Nope. Public forum, I don't see anybody wishing. Mitch is shaking his head, okay. Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn then.
Joe, just before you do
Yes,
that,
Gary, sorry.
we have my calendar won't come up. We have a meeting, an evening hearing
24th.
on the 24th.
It's a special meeting.
A special meeting on the 24th.
7:30 in the community center.
So maybe we could do you said we have an executive session? If we could do it that way.
We still have time to put an agenda together, so maybe we can put some issues on that meeting, okay? I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Like it.
Second, we're adjourned at 9:36.
How come we don't have Columbus Day Parade in Guilford?